Hello guys, my name is Tracy Matanzima, your health coach, and this is Health Coach TV. So today I am glad to bring to you our one and only senior doctor from Kabarak University, Dr. Brian Yego, and we're going to talk about ulcers. So Dr. Brian,
Yes.
can you please tell us a brief introduction of who you are?
I'm Dr. Brian Yego, a clinician at Kabarak University Medical Center.
Discussion, ulcers. So can you tell us what is ulcers and how do they form?
Thank you, Tracy. Ulcer is broadly put is a wound. So a wound is an erosion of the protective tissues of a certain body organ. So for the purposes of our discussion today, I think we are going to discuss the common ulcer, which is a peptic ulcer disease, normally known as PUD. So peptic ulcer disease is an ulcer, or rather a wound in the stomach and the small intestine. They are normally classified into two. We have duodenal ulcer and gastric ulcer, which is a stomach ulcer. A stomach ulcer affects the stomach itself. Duodenal ulcer affects the duodenum, which is the small intestine.
Okay.
Yeah, so essentially it's a corrosion of the lining. A stomach or the gastrointestinal system has some linings, which is called mucosa. I talk most about it's called mucosa, where absorption enzymes are produced. We have what we call a microvilli. So with acidity or anything else that may cause acids in the body, it corrodes the lining, it corrodes the mucosa, forming a wound. Yeah, so that's the ulcer.
Okay, thank you. And how do they form?
The commonest cause of peptic ulcer is hyperacidity. When there is high levels of acids.
Okay.
We know our digestive system produces what we call gastric acid.
Yeah.
But in excess quantities, like anything else, it becomes poisonous to the system. So too much acids for longer periods of time burns up the mucosal lining of the stomach and corrodes it, making it form a wound. Yeah.
Okay, the symptoms of ulcers.
The commonest sign of ulcer is pain. And pain is it's a pain that comes essentially a burning pain, which is commonly located at the gastric, that is in between the ribs towards the stomach, and a bit lower for the duodenal ulcer. So it's a pain which is characterized by burning. It's like you feel like there's some hot water you're poured into your stomach. There's something hot inside. Yes, so that's a first sign of ulcer. Another sign of ulcer is bloating. You feel that your stomach is there's a lot of gas inside. You feel you're passing a lot of gas, and that one normally happens because if the internal lining, the microvilli, which normally helps in absorption, is destroyed, then the body will the stomach lining, the GI lining will not be able to digest and absorb the food we take. So poor absorption, poor digestion makes the food we take produce a lot of gas, and that's when there's you feel like there's a lot of blood. Another thing is nausea. You feel like you want to vomit because the GI system is irritated.
Okay.
So it feels like it wants to something. In some cases, you feel there's some water coming out of your gastrointestinal system. You feel you want to belch. You feel that there's some water coming out, very hot water. Yeah, so that's what we call regurgitation. So those are acids in the stomach.
Can fever also be a sign of ulcer or extreme headache?
No, fever, given it's a wound, fever cannot come in unless there is you are exposed to an infection, because the wound, meaning your body tissues are exposed. So probably unless there is an infecting process, it may form it may come with a headache. But in most cases, no, it may come with fever. But in most cases, there is no fever with ulcers. Headache can be common. You know, a headache is a general sign. In most cases, headaches does not is non-specific to anything. So any pain pain anywhere can cause headache, fatigue from the nerves that it's the nerves transmits pain.
Yeah.
And it's the brain to communicate that pain. So in some cases, a headache can be there.
Can you?
In addition to the symptoms of that pain, the pain it's common during, especially towards morning, a.m. at night, 3 a.m. You feel like there's a pain that wakes you up. You feel there's something burning in your stomach. Sometimes you feel like vomiting at night. So towards morning, the pain for ulcers is very common. That's when food has already been digested and absorbed. It's common when there's an empty stomach, because when your stomach is empty, digestive enzymes are produced, including the hydrochloric acid. So given the acids produced for digestion and already too much acids in your system, when the stomach is empty, the acids now start to digest the stomach itself, the lining. So that the pain is common when there is hunger, or sometimes immediately after meals, 30 minutes to 3 hours after a meal. And that is common when you take some foods which are high in acids, content. Yeah.
Thank you. And what are the treatment options for ulcer?
Now, treatment options for ulcers depends on the cause. As I've stated, a wound. What causes wounds in the stomach? Number one, causes that are inside the body, what that we may call intrinsic causes, and we have external extrinsic causes. So internal causes are the commonest cause of acid, which leads to ulcers, is what we call Helicobacter pylori, which is normally known as famously known as H. pylori. That is a bacteria which is found in our gastrointestinal system. This bacteria enters the body through fecal-oral food, contaminated water. It can also come through person-to-person contact, like through saliva. Any sweats can also get into, can get into contact with H. pylori. It's common in low socioeconomic setups, because normally it's a disease of the poor, and we can say that because of the mode of spread. Another cause of acids, hyperacidity, includes food, the diet we take.
Okay.
Yeah, foods which are rich in caffeine, like chocolates, like coffee, mochas, some fruits like contain citric acid, soda. Yeah, so those are and even alcohol. To my consumption of alcohol can also cause hyperacidity. So depending on the cause, H. pylori we test through stool. That's the most specific way of testing, where we test the antigens of the H. pylori. So the stool is the most specific way of testing, and if it is positive, it should also be accompanied by symptoms, because H. pylori can be dormant in your body system. We may accidentally come across a positive test of H. pylori on your stool, but without symptoms, we don't not treat. We just treat when there's symptoms, there's a positive test. So we give a combination of antibiotics, 2 antibiotics, in most cases amoxicillin and clarithromycin, and some other combinations can be amoxicillin 1 gram and plus levofloxacin plus PPI, which is what we normally call omeprazole. So omeprazole is omeprazole. So a kit of H. pylori comes a packet of 7 packets, where each packet contains 6 tablets. You take 1 tablet in the morning, 3 tablets in the morning, 3 tablets in the evening. So for the 3 tablets, it contains the combination of the drugs we mentioned, the 2 antibiotics and PPI. You take for 2 weeks. Then you continue for maybe another month or so with just a normal PPI after the antibiotics. If the cause is found to be maybe lifestyle or diet, we just use the normal PPIs or what we call H2 receptor. So H2 receptor inhibitors. So these are drugs like ranitidine plus, or the commonest omeprazole for up to 8 weeks, and this allows the wound to heal. Meanwhile, you also need to to check on your diet if that could have been the cause, so that the drug will function well.
Okay, thank you. From which age are people at risk of getting ulcer?
Initially, ulcers was going to be due to, it is for the older people. Initially, we thought ulcers could be due to stress. When somebody has ulcers, we just say this person not gonna stress me.
Yeah.
But it has come to be discovered that ulcers can affect up to 3 years old babies, and that is due to the high incidences of H. pylori infections, given the low socioeconomic status of some households that are there for crowding. So, and how children are exposed to the contaminated environments. So even children as young as 3 years, they get the infection. But in most cases, in children, it takes a bit longer for the acidic thing to develop. From 15 years up to 30 years, that's where the symptoms are very common now. Yeah. So the infection can come a bit early, but symptomatically it progresses until it's around 9, 8, 12, 30 years. That's the population where it's a very high risk of ulcers.
I want you to mention some of the foods which are acidic and can cause ulcer.
Overall, the commonest cold, chakula baridi. Most cold foods, when it's been digested, produce a lot of acids. Another commonest thing, foods which produce a lot of acids include callus, what's normally called sukuma wiki.
Okay.
There's a type of beans also causing a lot of acidity. There is the ndengu.
Yeah.
Also, things like fruits producing citrus, like even what do we call oranges, sodas, all kinds of sodas.
Yes.
There's a lot of citric acid. Coffee produce a lot of acids. Yeah, with those chocolate-based things, and generally spiced foods. And initially, when we normally take those foods in our villages, you hear somebody saying, "Naumwa ro, ama ro imechafuka." Sometimes just the same thing. So row sana sana, we thought this is the wrong. In the village, tunasema ro iko hapa, but essentially that's our stomach. Yeah, so that is hyperacidity.
And you have talked about alcohol.
Yes.
So maybe you should tell those youths or elderly people who take alcohol, tell them how they are at risk of getting ulcer due to alcohol.
Essentially, alcohol, unfortunately, is a risk factor to a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Just to be on the safer side, even just social, just to plan your mind well, to plan your things well in life, you need to avoid alcohol. Alcohol, depending on the brewers, those who especially this, especially squeezed that the backdoor is a black market. The alcohol which is normally what do we call consumed.
Yeah.
And nowadays, in this case, the journal kill me quick. Their main purpose wanataka ile ukikunywa tot kidogo umelewa. So those are the most poisonous ones. So if to be on the safer side in anything, we can enumerate all things that alcohol can cause a lot. You cannot finish, and hyperacidity and ulcers is one of them.
Any additional information you want to tell anyone who has ulcer, be it a grown-up, maybe a child? Just tell them anything. If it can be treated, tell them anything.
Yeah. Now, ulcers is treatable. Maybe what we forgot to say is, if you get an ulcer, the stereotype, the stigma that anybody having an ulcer is somebody was stressed. That's not correct. If you have hyperacidity, I suggest you seek early medical help, because acids in your body are poisonous, as we've said. It corrodes your stomach. Long-term hyperacidity in your body can lead to some complications, which may cause bleeding. Because anywhere there's a wound, there's probability of bleeding. Bleeding may be seen in stool, the fresh stool, fresh blood, meaning your ulcer is to the lower of your GI system, or it could be dark stool. That stool could be upper GI system. Or even some people may be vomiting blood.
Yes.
So, but you may miss it if it comes through stool because of the hygiene. Of course, when you go to these toilets, you may not be able to see how your stool is. But you could be losing some blood when you have ulcers, causing anemia.
Yes.
Chronic wounds can lead to can make the sense of start lining cancerous. So you may develop stomach cancer or duodenal cancer. So I request everybody who has some discomfort, the burning sensations, the heartburns, to seek proper medical help. I also want to request our maybe medics, my colleagues, wherever they are, even if you are in a rural setup, the most appropriate way to do H. pylori is through stool antigen test. That's more specific, because if you start somebody on anti pylori treatment, can you imagine using 3 antibiotics for 2 weeks, and maybe probably you will not sick after. So it also predisposes you to some resistance. So we just do a proper diagnosis, we keep our treatment, and compliance is very important, because if you start medication, you need to use those medication until the time when the wound heals, and the wound takes time to heal. So that's why we give medications up to 8 weeks, and we request that people comply with medication, because recurrent acidity causes complications, as we have said. So the best thing, just comply with the medication for that period. You get well, you manage your diet, and as much as possible, we also don't need to avoid, because if you check that food we've stated, avoiding them completely may lead to malnutrition.
Yeah.
So we also need to balance, and especially our students, they should not rush to special diet every time.
Yes.
Yeah, we try to manage as much as possible. Let the doctor decide for you which foods you can take, which one you may not take, so that it also helps to build up your body. Yeah, so the commonest way of diagnosing an ulcer is through symptoms, as we've stated. Investigations include endoscopy. That's the most specific thing, because endoscopy is a microscopic computer-guided view of your GI system, and it shows exactly where the wound is. It confirms this.
Okay, thank you. And from what I've heard from you, you meant that if you stay for too long without treating ulcer, it might even cause death.
Definitely, because with by that I know people, someone who was very close to me was passed on through active ulcer. So that one got what do we call a shock, pain. So there was excessive pain. There was also excessive bleeding, and that person passed away. That's the acute phase. So with the complications you stated, like anemia, with the complications we've stated, like the risk of cancer developing from the ulcer itself, the risk of also when your GI system is corroded, meaning your body digestion is slow, your nutritional absorption is also low. And if your stomach or your intestines cannot absorb the nutrients you are taking, then definitely you are becoming malnourished. Your body becomes susceptible to your infections through low immunity from poor diet. Yeah.
And
So that's how dangerous ulcers is. testicles.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brian, for accepting to be with us today, for accepting to talk to our viewers on the topic ulcer. Thank you so much. We have learned a lot. We really appreciate. Then to our dear viewer, thank you for watching. Please subscribe at the end, and I hope it's gonna be of help to you. Maybe not you, but your family, your friends. Tell a friend to tell a friend about ulcer.